I'm Bastians Goofy, and tonight we're going to be talking about the Joker. I'm going to be getting into the actual scenes play by play from beginning to end of the movie, as well as my review. Let's get started. So the film starts off with Arthur Fleck on his daily routine and his horrible life. Now, I do want to note that I did not expect that this movie, Joker, would actually be a character study. Spending time in this guy's actual life, Arthur Fleck. That's what it truly is. I don't expect it to be a movie. I expect it to be living a couple days with the Joker. So let's get right into it. The movie was great. I would give it a 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. Now the movie starts off with Arthur Fleck in his daily life, his daily routine in Gotham. Now Gotham's in a trash-infested environment because the poor and middle class is on a strike against the rich. Now it's slowly building up throughout the movie, but this is where we start. Now Arthur Fleck's going to his daily routine. He's going to his psychiatrist or some kind of person, social worker that's trying to help him. She doesn't really care. And right off the bat, you can see that Arthur Fleck has a effed up life. Right off the bat, you can tell he has some not so real life events. Like when he's at his actual job as a clown and flipping signs. He imagines a bunch of kids beating him up and taking the sign. When later you find out that, the boss questions him and says, hey, everybody who was around you said you took the sign. Now, besides all that, you really notice people who are unstable or have mental disabilities or any disability. Right off the bat, you understand that this is like real life. People, your bosses, your jobs, the people around you really don't care or take care of how to handle you, or Arthur Fleck in this case. And that is one of the very few and one of the first problems you see in this movie. Of course, there's problems with the middle class and the poor against the rich. You can see how people are just scumbags like Arthur Fleck's co-workers. They're just trashy people. They don't really take care of Arthur Fleck. They know he has disabilities and they take advantage. Which is, sad to say, it's real. That happens. Now, moving forward, we realize that Arthur Fleck has a pretty sad life. He goes home right after his crappy job and messed up people to his mentally ill mother. Now, his mother loves him, he takes care of her, and they have money problems, and they live in a crappy apartment. And Arthur works on his material, and he watches his favorite Showtime host, Mary Franklin. Now, beyond all this, remember those crappy co-workers I was talking about in his job? Well, one of them hands him a gun and says, hey, you can pay me later. Basically taking advantage of Arthur Fleck. Now, later on in the movie, Arthur Fleck is just minding his own business, going home to the train. And that's when a couple losers that you see in the trailer get shot up because they mess with Arthur and they beat him up and he gets frightened and he uses the weapon he has. Now, right after he kills these kids, these losers, these dumbheads, he feels some self-control over his crappy life. Now, during this confrontation, the people notice it on the news, and so does the audience and the cast of Murray Franklin. They all talk about it, and it brings rise to the riots and the strikes that I was telling you earlier about in the beginning of the movie against the rich and the poor and middle class. Now, this helps Arthur Fleck later because later on he becomes a symbol. They find out it's him. Arthur Fleck tries comedy. He lies to himself. But that tape where he lied to himself and it's not very good, Murray Franklin invites him on the show, makes fun of him, and that's when Murray Franklin gets shot in the head. And that's basically the end of the movie. Now, you come to find out that throughout this whole thing, Arthur Fleck is actually in a mental institute talking to a psychiatrist or some kind of mental person trying to watch him. He ends up killing her, escapes, and that's the end of the movie. Now, what everybody's talking about is if Batman's father was actually Arthur Fleck's father, because Arthur Fleck's mother used to work there as a maid. Now, even though in the movie they kind of play off that Arthur Fleck's mother was also mental, and that's why she abused her son, Arthur Fleck, and that's why Arthur has, problems, because his mother beat him as well as his father. But it's also implied that maybe it was actually true. Maybe Arthur Fleck might be the son, or actually be part of the Wayne family. Well, you guys, that's basically the whole movie, and that's what people are still contemplating about, thinking about. But I just want to say the movie was good, but it was not what I expected. Like I said again in the beginning of the movie, the beginning of the video, sorry. I think this is a character study. I don't think it was an actual movie. It did not play out like any movie. Like I said, it played out like you were spending time with Arthur Fleck. A couple days with him, weeks, maybe months. And it wasn't like a action scene or a movie scene or a sad scene. It wasn't, you couldn't tell what it was. It was all mixed together like a daily routine thing. Now that was surprising but awesome. I enjoyed it. Well, you guys, I'm Bastians Goofy. I honestly enjoyed the movie, even though it surprised me in a good way. I enjoyed it. I just want to tell y'all, thank you for watching the video, the review, and a little bit of how the movie actually played out. Thank you.